What's up, everybody? So we are back, and we are back on Isla Sorna, that is, aka Site B. So as you guys remember, well, if you guys remember, I just started this new Site B series that I promised you guys after I got done documenting the species on Isla Nublar. So I got permission from my superiors, of course, to share a lot of this documented footage with you guys that you will be seeing on Isla Sorna over the course of the next few months. So basically, what we're going to be talking about in this new episode, we're going to be recapping what happened last episode and what took part on, well, basically what took part in the last episode, and we're going to be talking about the well-being of the island. That will be the main focus of this episode, because the public has been, very clueless of what's been going on here on Isla Sorna over the last 19 years. So if you guys remember, I have been working for Engine over the course of 4 going on 5 months, but I haven't took part of anything that's been going over the last 19 years, but I have been filled in on what's been going on. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of that with you guys. So let's hop to it. But before we hop to it, right off the bat, we're going to acknowledge our newly bred cast sources. We're going to get into when we bred them and how many we bred pretty soon. But as you can see, this was not a dinosaur that was planned for the original park, and nor was it on the original Engine list. So to start off, we're going to recap what happened last episode. So last episode, we were actually on a different part of Isla Sorna in a red wooded area, and we bred and cloned Carcharodontosauruses up to 9 months to a year, and we released them into the wild with you guys. And unfortunately, we cloned 7. Unfortunately, 2 died, so that's 5 left to fend for themselves or to pair up with each other to survive, of course. So I talked to you guys about the GoPro cameras that we have set up all along the island. If you remember my documented footage on I was about to say Isla Norblar. My documented footage on Isla Nublar, I got around with my Jeep to document everything, but here on Isla Sorna, everything is like 10 times bigger. Well, the island itself is like 10 times bigger than Isla Nublar. Things are a lot more dangerous. There are a lot more vegetation is a lot more thick here, so I can't move around. Can't really maneuver too much with my Jeep. So we have GoPro cameras set up all along the island. It has the highest definition of tech embedded in it, so rain or it won't malfunction or anything like that. So yeah, that's basically to recap what happened last episode. With you guys, we released the Carcharodontosauruses into the wild, and we talked about the GoPro cameras and everything I have planned for you guys. And I talked about how I basically had confirmation from my superiors to share this kind of footage with you guys, and we're going to turn it into a series. So now to talk about what's been going on the island over the last 19 or so years. So like I said, I've only been working here for 4 or 5 months, but I haven't filled in on what's been going on with everything. So for example, we're going to start off with the Edmontosaurus. So when Ian Malcolm was here in 2000, when Ian Malcolm was here in 1997, he did a species document himself, even though it wasn't planned. But he talked about on how Edmontosaurus were here. Edmontosaurus was basically extinct. It was on the original Engine list, but it was extinct, and it was they only documented at least a skull in the Tyrannosaurus Rex nest. So basically, what I'm trying to get to is that populations dropped tremendously over the last 19 years, but we have helped that a lot. Like I explained in my last video, we are fully aware that releasing Carcharodontosauruses into the wild is going to add to the population of carnivores, and it might deplete the population of herbivores. But we are constantly cloning and breeding. We've been monitoring this island. We've been monitoring this island for a very, very long time, and what I was basically getting at with the Edmontosaurus is that we basically brought it back from extinction, and the numbers are very, very high. You will see, if you guys keep up with this series, you will see that these guys thrive a lot, and they thrive everywhere, just about everywhere over the island. So basically, yeah, what I was getting at is that we are fully aware that if we release carnivores onto the island, it could deplete the herbivores, the species of the population of herbivores. But we're constantly monitoring everything, and we're constantly cloning dinosaurs. So for example, here's our Chasmosaurus. Like I said, it was not planned for the original engine list. Here's some more over here. It was not on the original engine list, and it wasn't planned for the original park, but we want to spice things up a bit. Isla Sorna will not get overpopulated because it is very, very huge, and like I said, at least 10 times bigger than Nublar. So we wanted to add to the population of herbivores, and a Chasmosaurus was a good choice to add to the island. So I think these were originally cloned around 2 or 3 years ago, and at least 15 of them were cloned. They actually did pretty well on the island, so that was like 2 or 3 years ago. There's at least, they cover almost the entire island, so it's really hard to say how they are doing in numbers, but I mean, they're doing well, but it's really so hard to say how many of them are there. Just same thing with Edmontosauruses. Like I said, in 1997 they were reported to be extinct, but we brought them back from extinction. And trikes are of course going to be always doing well. They're so I mean, not only are they armored, because the Chasmosaurus is armored as well, but they are very good at defending themselves, and they also stay high in numbers. So yeah. So we're gonna actually move on to a different part of Isla Sorna real quick. Well, it's the same part. We're just gonna go further down. Oh, well, before we go, here's some Stygimolochs. Stygimolochs are also doing pretty good in numbers here on Isla Sorna. They were not on the island 19 years ago, so of course we added them to the island. Like I said, we want to keep the populations high here on Isla Sorna. And here's a Dracorex. Dracorex don't usually, okay, see, here's some more. I was about to say, Dracorex don't usually stay by themselves, so Dracorex and Stygimolochs, they, here on Isla Sorna that is, they tend to really stay next to each other, breaking up into huge herds. So yeah. But like I said, we're going to go further down. So yeah, our GoPro cameras are pretty well. Sometimes, like for example, if they have a hard time getting through any thick vegetation, they'll just go above that stuff. Or sometimes they get caught in the branches. So like I said, here we are at another part of Isla Sorna. And right off the bat, here are the Brachiosauruses. So if you remember on Isla Nublar, we documented a whole bunch of Brachiosauruses, but on Isla Sorna, Brachiosauruses are actually bred differently. There were two versions of the Brachies bred for whatever reason, I forgot though. But these are Brachiosauruses here on Isla Sorna actually look more like this compared to the ones on Isla Nublar. I think they might have spiced up the genes a little bit, which made them come out to look like this. So yeah, I actually don't know which one I prefer, to be honest. I do love the variation, the color of this one compared to the more bland one on Isla Nublar, but well, it's not really bland, but it's just really one color scheme. But I don't know, it's a nostalgia feeling for the one on Isla Nublar. But yeah, Brachiosauruses here on Isla Sorna, for example, Brachiosauruses were at least up to 10 almost 19 years ago, but over the course of that time, they're thriving very well all over the island. Only places they don't really tend to go to is places like red wooded areas. They prefer to stay in open field with a little bit of jungle, a little bit of vegetation here and there, but they don't really like too much vegetation, and they don't really tend to be in the red wooded areas. And they don't really mix with the Myrmechosauruses as well. As you remember in the last episode of Site B when we were on the island, Myrmechosauruses were in a redwooded area away from Brachies. Brachiosauruses were not in the last episode, so they don't mix at all here on Isla Sorna, and that goes to show these Brachiosauruses and Myrmechosauruses are huge herbivores, and that goes to show how they don't mix at all. They require a lot of space, but they don't mix at all. So that goes to show you how big Isla Sorna is. So, anyways, we had an Ankylosaurus over here. We have some more trikes. Ankylosauruses they also do pretty well. Most armored herbivores on the island do very amazing. They don't really have to worry about anything harming them in any kind of way. So that's why trikes are in huge numbers. Here's a galley. Galleys stay in huge herds, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some more galleys further up somewhere. But here's some Parasaurolophus. So Parasaurolophus are doing pretty well here on Isla Sorna as well, just like they're doing on Isla Nublar. So when we came here, or at least what I found out is that a few years ago, Parasaurolophus were actually declining a lot in numbers. So since I've been here, we've cloned a lot of Parasaurolophus. We only release them when we know they're good enough to fend for themselves. I mean, Parasaurolophus can't really defend for himself besides running, but once we know they're, you know, well enough to go on their own. So well, here's another trike right here. So it doesn't, right off the bat, we don't really see any carnivores in the area. Of course, I'm familiar with a lot of these areas here on Isla Sorna, but okay, right off the bat, boom. So that appears to be a male Tyrannosaurus Rex, a fully grown buck, and he's already scaring off the Triceratops. So yes, we have a full Tyrannosaurus Rex right in there. I mean, we have a fully grown Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh, there's two actually. So we're gonna talk about these guys right here. So this is a male, and this is a female. They are actually a mated pair. So only reason why I know they're a mated pair is because I keep tabs on them. They do this a lot, but they will not fight. So they probably have. Let me see. Okay, so this is actually a nice little area. So they probably have taken up or claimed this area as their own. So yeah, as I said, they are a mated pair. This is a male buck, and the female is a doe, and they probably claimed this area as their own territory. Of course, the herbivores that are in this area, such as the Parasaurolophus and the Trikes and the Gallimimuses, they have to give these carnivores their space. So they know that the carnivores have claimed this as their own territory, but of course this is their territory as well, so they have to respect these carnivores' space. So gotta try to find where that female went. So like a lot of stuff that I'm telling you guys, like I said, I actually already know because this is me talking over footage that I've actually already documented. So like I said, this is a female and this is a male. They probably won't venture too far from this area at all, since this area is pretty plentiful with a lot of herbivores, so they don't really have anything to worry about. I don't really think they have to really fight off any other carnivores unless there's another Tyrannosaurus Rex, another male maybe fighting for breeding rights or territory rights. But these guys basically, they'll take up this whole entire area. So I'm gonna check out and see what other herbivores are in this area. Like I said, this is a group of Triceratops, along with Ankylosauruses and Galleys. Galleys seem to be spreading out a lot around this area. But as you can see, I'm not really surprised on why the pair of T-Rexes actually took refuge here on this part of the island. You know, claim as their territory because food is plentiful here. You got Gallimimuses, which are easily to actually hunt. Parasaurolophus everywhere. Trikes and Ankylosauruses are good to hunt together, but you know, it's still a dangerous opponent. But it's still a dangerous dinosaur to hunt. So I doubt that I doubt that they use the I doubt that the Triceratops are really ones that they try to hunt a lot. But Parasaurolophus, you know, they're plentiful in this area, so I wouldn't be surprised if they get picked off by the Tyrannosaurus Rexes a lot, along with the Gallimimuses, which is probably why the Galleys aren't into a huge herd and they're breaking off. They probably break off into herds because they get spooked easily by the Tyrannosaurus Rexes. So gonna make our way to another part here on Isla Sorna. I don't really expect to see any other carnivore in this area, mainly because the Tyrannosaurus Rexes are, you know, they take up this area. So no other carnivore, and like I said, unless it's another Tyrannosaurus Rex, no other carnivore would want to challenge these guys for this territory. Well, I do know, but I can't spoil that for you guys. So I'm just gonna say, I'm not really sure if the Carcharodontosaurus would want to take on a Tyrannosaurus Rex for a certain area. Besides, these Tyrannosaurus Rex has been on this pair has been on the island a lot longer than the Carcharodontosauruses have, so they're more familiar with the area. I don't really see any battle scars on the male, so I guess it's safe to say he hasn't had to battle for anything lately. Let's see where these guys are running off to. Okay, so we have a hunt that's about to happen. Looks like we have 2 hunts that's about to happen. So a female is about to go for a galley, and a male is about to go for a galley. So this is actually pretty interesting. So yeah, like I said, galleys can be easily picked off here on the island. But you know, like I said before, once we notice a species of dinosaurs getting too low, we will increase them, you know, back up into high numbers. So that's not really anything to worry about. So for whatever reason they didn't hunt together. I don't know why that happened, but yeah. So yeah, this is a Tyrannosaurus Rex pair that's taking refuge here on this part of the island. We're gonna actually go further down here where there's at least five more brachies in the area. So yeah, 5 more brachies in the area. Brachies break off into groups of 6 most of the time, groups of 4 or 6. So nothing can really threaten them here on Isla Sorna. So they really have nothing to worry about, and their species or their population doesn't really decline too much. They usually only die of old age or some type of disease or something like that. So as we go on another part of Isla Sorna, we're going to see what else is in the area. Okay, so I was about to say those are the Brachiosauruses roaring back there, but obviously it isn't because we have more Brachiosauruses. So as you can see, like I said, Brachiosauruses break off into their own little sectors on the island. Like I said, they don't really have nothing to worry about, and this is one Edmontosaurus right here, actually 2. So safe to say that Edmontosauruses are, besides that area that we were in with the Tyrannosaurus Rex pair, here's another Edmontosaurus along with a Parasaurolophus. So these guys have broken off into their own little group here on Isla Sorna. Usually on Isla Sorna, you see Parasaurolophus with Corythosauruses, and Edmontosauruses might be with the lower titans. But in this area, they've broken off into their own little sectors. So Hadrosauruses usually stay safer when they're in large numbers. So I'm not really seeing too many large numbers. Oh, here we have a Carcharodontosaurus. Let me get close so I can see. So it's actually a female. We have a female Carcharodontosaurus in the area. I doubt. Well, there's a high chance she might be by herself. She probably broke off from a male or broke off. Like I said in the last episode, those 5 that remained, because 2 did die. Those 5 were going to stick with each other, and then after a while they were going to want to claim their own territory. She's not that far away from the Tyrannosaurus Rex pair. I wouldn't be surprised if they can. Carnivores are very good at smelling each other, so I wouldn't be surprised if they are aware that they are very close with each other. So of course she's smart enough to know she cannot take on 2 Tyrannosaurus Rexes at the same time. So I wouldn't be surprised if she chose to make this area. Okay, we're gonna see if she's trying to hunt. I wouldn't be surprised if she chose to claim this area as her own little territory. So we're gonna follow her and see what she's doing actually. Guess just staring at the sometimes you might notice helicopters in the area. Like I said, we monitor Isla Sorna a lot to make sure everything is pretty cool. Okay, so we actually do have another carnivore, and we have Edmontosaurus grazing over here, or getting a drink of water. So we have another carnivore in the area. It is a Carnotaurus. So Carnotaurus is a medium-sized carnivore. It would not put up a fight against a Carcharodontosaurus at all, so that's probably why it's not trying to challenge it. And like I said, if you guys remember, we just actually released Carcharodontosaurus into the area, so she's probably still trying to. She's possibly trying to claim a territory as her own, but she still hasn't established one yet. Okay, I think I might have spoke up a fight, you guys. So we have a Carno possibly about to take on a Carcharodontosaurus, and as you can see, there's a huge size difference. This is probably her first fight outside of her siblings that we cloned her with. Of course, she used to fight her siblings for fun, but okay, so she has given the first hit to the Carnotaurus, and Carnotaurus is not hesitating to strike back. I thought I might mention that this is also a female Carnotaurus. She struck twice, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's been here on the island. This is not her first fight she's gotten into. She shouldn't be a match for the Carcharodontosaurus, but these Carcharodontosauruses are still kind of new to the wild. Okay, hang on. Okay, it appears that she's about to kill this Carnotaurus. So that is pretty interesting. Oh, here's a Gallimimus. That is pretty interesting. That shows us a lot on how the dinosaurs defend themselves, and you know, we learn a lot from these little documentaries that we do. So that is like I said, that is very interesting. So female Carcharodontosaurus just killed the female Carnotaurus. Glad I captured that on film. So she, as you can see, she might have broken off away from the group that she was with, but she is more than capable of defending herself. But a Carnotaurus is of course no match for a Carcharodontosaurus anyways. But you know, it's pretty cool to keep up. I mean, it's pretty cool to see how these Carcharodontosauruses are doing. I wasn't expecting 2 to die in the original episode with, you know, 2 died against 2 Stegosauruses, so that is pretty unfortunate. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the rest of the Carcharodontosauruses have ventured off to this area as well, because the redwooded area is pretty far away from this area. So I wouldn't be surprised if more ventured off into this area. And if they did venture off, of course they have to hunt, you know, because they need that extra energy. So I guess it's safe to say if there's a female right here who doesn't appear to be with a male, Carcharodontosauruses are doing pretty well. So as a matter of fact, we're actually going to search real quick to see if there is any males in this area. It's raining now, but as I mentioned, our cameras are more than capable, you know, of handling stuff in the rain, which is pretty cool. So what we're doing is we're looking for, okay, here's another herd of Parasaurolophus. Got a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we got 5 Parasaurolophus in the area along with 3 Edmontosauruses. So these guys are sticking really close pretty close to each other, and they're taking refuge amongst the 4 Brachys. Like I said, we're just trying to search the area and see if there could possibly be any more Carcharodontosauruses, or even, you know, Carnotauruses. So here's another Gallimimus. Gallimimus probably broke off from the herd that were in the area with the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and they came over to where the well, you know, they just broke off from their herd and ventured off anywhere else. So here's another Ankylosaurus along with Chasmosauruses. So like I said, Chasmosauruses don't really have anything to worry about. They stay in herds up to 4 or 5. There's not really much that can harm them here on the island, unless they're targeted by, of course, a group of carnivores, or, you know, a pair of Tyrannosaurus Rexes or something like that. But just like the Trikes and the Ankylosauruses, they are heavily armored, and they don't really tend to get in too many fights. They will panic if carnivores come near them, though. But okay, here's the female Carcharodontosaurus. So she appears to be following us. Well, actually, it appears that after she killed the Carnotaurus, it looks like she's stalking a Parasaurolophus. So as I already mentioned, it is, you know, it's pretty cool to say that this female is doing okay. I don't really know about what I do, but you guys don't. So of course I gotta play the part. So we know, I'm just gonna speak for all of us. Then we don't really know the well-being. That Parasaurolophus better run. We don't really know the well-being of the other Carcharodontosauruses, and she doesn't appear to be with a male, so she ventured off to claim her own territory, and she's aware of the Tyrannosaurus Rexes. I'm really certain of it. But she's probably, like, she's taken this area because she knows she can't take on 2 Tyrannosaurus Rexes. Let alone, I wouldn't even say she's capable of taking on 1, because she's still fairly new to the area herself. Speaking of the Tyrannosaurus Rexes, we're gonna actually head back over to that area to see how they are doing. So yeah, this was, like I said, we started off the video recapping what happened last episode, and I gave you guys insight on what's been going on Isla Sorna over the course of 19 years. So other than that, I really want to show you guys the little area that we were in and what dinosaurs were in those areas. You have 2 galleys along with the 4 Brachiosauruses that we already encountered. And here's the Tyrannosaurus Rex pair. Hold on. Okay, so here's a dead. I actually thought this was a Carcharodontosaurus. Here's a dead Parasaurolophus, 9 times out of 10 killed by the Tyrannosaurus Rexes because there's no other carnivores in this little proximity. So usually proximities are usually taken up by carnivores. Like for example, like I said, the Tyrannosaurus Rexes. Oh, so here's a dead Triceratops. So we have a dead Parasaurolophus and a dead Triceratops. So these Tyrannosaurus Rexes, this is definitely their territory. And as I mentioned, I doubt the Carcharodontosaurus will, you know, even try to come over here. They might even venture over to her if they feel like they are, that she's threatening their area. Female dinosaurs are, or female carnivores are naturally more aggressive than male carnivores. So the male might actually hang back and the female Tyrannosaurus Rex might actually try to venture off on her own to go and challenge the Carcharodontosaurus, but it's a slim chance that might happen. Appears that she's about to feed on the trike. So as you can see, Tyrannosaurus Rexes are naturally more bulky and more built than the Carcharodontosaurus. So if they were to battle, which I have not seen yet, I personally would lean more to the Tyrannosaurus Rex winning. And then these, like I said, these guys have been in the wild longer than a Carcharodontosaurus, so they, you know, they know how to defend themselves more. And as you can see, they took out a trike. I mean, we did see our Carcharodontosaurus take out a Carnotaurus, but these guys took out a trike and a Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus can't defend itself, so that's an easy kill, but these guys don't mess around. Just to be sure that the only carnivores in this area, we're going to search again real quick. This area is filled with trikes and gallimimuses and ankylosauruses and Parasaurolophus, but there are no edmontosauruses in the area. So yeah, as I mentioned before in the last video, in the first episode, I do have a lot of stuff planned for you guys. I just want to, like I said, I want to start episode 2 off recapping what happened in the first episode, and I want to give you guys insight on how we help the herbivores here on Isla Sorna, and how when we do add carnivores, if they do deplete the population of herbivores, we will indeed help them. I want to share with you guys that we have been monitoring the island, and there's a lot of stuff we have in store. I can't really go into depth in detail, but I am more than happy to say that right off the bat on the second episode, we found a pair of Tyrannosaurus Rexes. And the only reason why I know that they are a pair because I've kept tabs on them outside of me doing the footage, and they would have been killed each other right now if they weren't a pair. I mean, if they weren't, you know, a pair. But happy to say that we found a pair of Tyrannosaurus Rexes, and we found, a Carcharodontosaurus, so a female, that is. So females, or at least one female Carcharodontosaurus, is more than capable of handling itself. We got to see it kill a Carnotaurus. Checked out the new, well, they're not new, but we checked out the different Brachiosauruses here. You know, Brachiosauruses are bred differently. They've been bred 2 ways with different stuff spiced into their genes. So that is why they look different here on Isla Sorna compared to Isla Nublar. So got to see the different Brachiosauruses, and like I said, I do prefer these variations here on Isla Sorna. We got to see the new Chasmosauruses, and we also did get to see the Dracorexes and the Stygimolochs here on Isla Sorna. And before, I came, there weren't any plans on even having Stygimolochs here on Isla Sorna. It was just plans for having it in, the original park. So we're going to actually get ready to close this video out. Just want to sum up what's been going on here on the island, and Tyrannosaurus Rex about to take a nap. Just want to sum up what's been going on here on the island, and like I said, recap of what's been going on in the last episode. I do have a lot in store for you guys, and I do appreciate feedback. I do love the feedback for these videos. I do like to see what you guys think and what you guys want to see. I mean, I can't make anything happen, but I still would love to see what you guys will want to see here on Isla Sorna. I beat around the bush with you guys a lot when you guys ask questions, mainly because I don't want to spoil anything. This is just tip of the iceberg. This is just a small little location here on Isla Sorna. There's so many other places here to go on Isla Sorna. So I'm gonna get ready to end this video looking at the buck and the doe in their, I guess you can say, in their claimed territory. So yeah, we're gonna get ready to end this video, and I will catch you guys later in the next episode. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Peace out.